Hello everyone, this is Fan Menardi from Pachamama Art. A new video about BRICS and NATO today. I saw yesterday that Russia is interfering now with Iran, providing new weapons to compensate what the United States have been taken down. So my question to Russia is, are we allies now or are we enemies? Are we still limited by our agreements with NATO and BRICS and automatically put on one side or the other just because we belong to an alliance? Or do we decide to reshape the world a little bit and the global dynamic and try to aim for peace altogether? All this work that the United States have been doing in Iran to prevent them from having a nuclear weapon, a dictatorship that has been denounced by their own citizens by many, many years, people tortured in jail, women's rights completely forgotten, women being beat up, like in Afghanistan, women not allowed to go to school, like girls not allowed to go to school. So is it really a smart move to cancel all this work that the United States have been doing to cancel terrorism in the Middle East by bringing them new weapon and starting another fight that's never gonna last? Of course, my position against Israel, that I think they are terrorists themselves, that we have to stop their governments. But is starting a war against them and doing new casualties really the solution? We are so sick of those wars. I really think that we have to focus completely on stopping Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, which, by the way, he looks very sick. And my belief about him if you've watched my videos or read my book already. I do believe that he is the reincarnation of Hitler and that he was sent for a karmic reason, like after going to the purgatory, and he came to kill all his Nazis that are reincarnated in Palestine. That's my crazy theory, okay? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just Hitler coming back and trying to kill other people, and maybe they're not the Nazis. But my personal belief is that there is a karmic debt being repaid right now, and that he's trying to kind of he's seeking redemption, and he puts himself on this mission that he has to kill all the Palestinians to balance out the karma for everyone, so in their next life they can come back cleaned out. That's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong. No matter what, we are not God. This is not our role to say, oh, that's okay that he's killing all of these people. Like, our role is to say, is it okay to do that or is it not okay? And are we gonna let images of murderers and criminals doing just whatever they want on a global scene every day online, and we see all these horrible images and it's just traumatizing? So are we gonna let that happen and let this guy travel as he pleases and never arrest him? So I think that's also what Russia is doing by bringing those weapons to Iran indirectly and bringing justice back towards Israel. There is always strategies, but at some point, this vicious circle of violence is exhausting. I think Russia should take side with the United States, just like we have taken side with Russia in the conflict with Ukraine. That finally, I'm so glad they're finally going to stop this war. I think that Zelensky is going to agree on giving out some land. I think Russia is probably going to accept Ukraine becoming a part of NATO, even though there is absolutely no interest for us to have Ukraine as part of NATO. We have a lot of interest in being partners with Russia. So I think we should not be limited. You know, we have created so many laws and like legal frameworks to protect the world and strengthen the economy that in the end it's kind of limiting us. It's just like copyright laws and stuff. Of course, they create copyright laws to protect authors. For example, I published the Mother Earth Mandala Oracle a few years ago. That was an amazing work that took me many years to make, and it was hard to get published. And the Chinese copied it and sold it, millions of copies. And I don't know, millions, but people buy it online for $4. A lot of people write to me, they're like, oh, I bought your oracle, but it's bad quality, it doesn't come with a booklet. I was like, yeah, because you bought the duplicate. There's a bad quality, there's no booklet, and the images are super ultra saturated. And of course, it damages my business, because then the publisher didn't want to publish anything else. They say, no, you didn't sell enough copies and didn't do anything to protect my artwork. So I understand that copyright laws are essential, but to the point that you have Dua Lipa who is suing Samsung for $15 million or $12 million because they posted a picture of her. Come on now. You know, all my entire book, my encyclopedia, is full of copyright infringement, you know, and it's all the people I admire who, you know, it's bring all the pieces of the puzzle together, and then people want disclosure. They want files put out publicly, but if you put files out publicly, then they will attack you for copyright infringement. So you have to know what you want. Do you want the truth and the FBI to release all, you know, the classified documents and stuff like that? Or do we want to follow the law all the time and be completely blocked by, you've got laws for everything? So I think we have to bring back common sense more than anything else. Common sense, and instead of being completely stuck by obligations, you know? So that's my call to Russia right now, and to NATO and stuff, to stop this weapon trafficking, to stop making this vicious circle never ending. It's just so exhausting. And yes, but anyways, I'm so happy, I'm so excited about Narges Mohammadi, who has been released yesterday, and she's finally in a hospital. This is teamwork, this is what collaboration should be like, you know, saving people, having testimonies. And I think Russia is interfering now in Iran. You know, sometimes it's good to give a little bit of something and then asking a lot. So maybe they're giving them a little bit of weapons, but Russia is going to be helping for the negotiation in changing the government in Iran, changing the leadership, so we can go from a dictatorship towards a better government. So I hope this is what's going on. Personally, I trust Vladimir Putin. I know he's a very smart man. A lot of the things he said that people pointed at, he was actually right. He's a great leader in the BRICS with Brazil, India. He has optimal relationships with India, with China, with Brazil. So, well, Iran now, he can lead them towards making better choices. But we have to remember that the goal is denuclearization. So you can give them some drones to say you support them and help with the political transition. And in the end, we're working together with the United States to achieve our goals, our common goals. But not starting to try bringing those big weapons to cultures that have been proven extremists for many, many centuries. You know, the whole entire world is evolving. Even America, who is a country that is super Christian, super religious. Like in France, we're not religious like that. Like it's really, really rare to have people wearing a cross, or people who go to the church, who say prayer before they eat and stuff like that. In France, this is very, very rare. It's even like, oh, he's a Christian. Like it's like the super weirdo thing, you know? When I came to America, I started going to people's home. They are praying before dinner. They're going to church on Sunday. And it's not just a random thing. It's everybody. So for me, it was weird to adapt because I was the stranger bringing all my spiritual Pachamama things, esoteric knowledge, and all this stuff. That's why at first it was strongly rejected. But then you realize that all these religions, they dissimulate all these symbols, all the even the Pope or high-level, how do you call them, priests and stuff like that. They use those symbols all the time in the Bible. They're dissimulated everywhere. This is how the Christians converted the Incas when the Spaniards invaded Peru. How they converted them? By using symbolism. So, for example, the Incas, they worshipped the moon. And when they came in, they wanted them to worship Jesus and Mother Mary. So they started putting a moon behind Mother Mary, like the halo around, or the moon when you have a halo, or the moon right next to them. It's because they wanted them to worship the moon. So they were worshiping the moon, but over the generations, the kids, they didn't make the difference. Are we worshiping the moon or are we worshiping Jesus and Mary? This is how you convert a whole religion. Okay? So you find common points and then you slowly do a transition. And this is what they're doing now in America with the aliens disclosure. Now that everybody has been so conditioned with the Bible, and this is the only God, and the Muslims, this is the Quran, and this is the only God, and in the end you have all these wars of religion. Look at the Palestinians and the Jews, like the Arabs and the Jews. Why do you hate each other just because you have different religions? This is so crazy. So now they're slowly disclosing all the alien files. And of course, in those alien files and life on other planets and all these theories of evolution, all this stuff over the centuries, it has changed. Why? Because the more science advances, the more our beliefs are going to evolve as well. So we evolve. It doesn't mean we don't believe in God. Personally, I don't belong to any religion, but something created us. Okay, so whatever his name is, or it's a force or it's a crazy mathematics, or it's just like some kind of energy life force, or there is a guy with a beard looking at us, like something created us all. The miracle of life just slowly appeared, but there are some miracles that evidence for sure that there are spirits, that there are other dimensions. And with quantum physics and stuff, now it becomes more and more obvious, and it's proven scientifically. So our religions are going to evolve as well. But those Arabs in the Middle East, like, this is the place where they never evolve, for centuries. They don't want to evolve. They're violent. Their culture doesn't evolve. They beat up their women still. And so, of course, we have to interfere, because they start being violent like they did with 9/11, or you give those crazy weapons that evolve with technology as well, then there's the end for everyone. So I really hope that we have Russia on our side, with the Americans. We have a great, great government. They are listening to the people. They're, how do you say in English? They're bienveillant, which is like good people, so that's it. That was my little parenthesis today about NATO and BRICS and making a point with Russia and all these weapons. So let's hope. I think a lot of things are going to change this year. The war with Russia and Ukraine is going to end very soon. Netanyahu is ready to die. I think he's already given up, to be honest with you. He's keeping a straight face in front of the cameras, but he was interviewed by 60 Minutes. I think it's his way to say he doesn't have long to live, because it's never a coincidence. Once you have fulfilled your mission, you're ready to go, and I think he fulfilled his mission that he believes he was meant to accomplish by balancing this karma. And now that it's done, he knows it's over for him because everybody wants to arrest him. So a lot of things are going to change. They're going to rebuild Gaza. I hope they're going to offer opportunities for integration to the Palestinians so they can have a piece, you know, of their land back and work on all of this for the better. And we will have to be supportive, really supportive of them, making sure the new generations are educated and don't grow up in the hate against Israel or hate against America. Otherwise, when these kids are becoming adults, they're going to have their revenge. It's going to start over. You know, it's okay to hate. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to have all these negative feelings for a day, or, you know, nobody can be 100% all the time, but you don't want to stay in those frequencies. This is why we as a team, we support each other, and we just don't, we have to cancel this black sheep syndrome. You know, the people who feel excluded, then we have to make them feel understood and bring them back and make them feel heard. And this is why I always talk to the people who are in Gaza and trying to forward it to the US government. So yes, this is how we change the world. The United Nations, like I said, yesterday I was so mad. Now today I still think, you know, mostly in terms of education, they have so much to do with mostly those poor communities. And we have to offer joy, you know, we have to offer like cool events and like art and make them show what did they learn in survival mode, you know, also like masterclass survival mode, crazy. Yeah, those people are a force. And there's going to be a lot of karmic lessons. You know, even if you come back in this life to understand what you did to others in another, if you were a Nazi in another life and you killed those Jews and you were a fanatic, you really thought they were an under race, you know, that had to disappear, and now you're coming and they're doing the same to you. And people save you, you know, there's a lot of lessons that are going to be learned. I really think somewhat that, I don't know, I'm not going to say it was necessary, but we witnessed something, and I hope it canceled out what happened in World War II, and that is never going to happen again, you know, because this time it was in front of all the cameras. So anyways, I got nothing else to say. I'm gonna go and make a new video for the present, the chapter of my book, new chapter of my book. Bye everyone, thank you for watching.